Good evening. How are you? I'm Chris. We're here, Parody of Reality, with my friend Vincent. We're going to be talking about this and that. Hope you have a good time. I love you all. Hello, Vincent. You're looking beautiful.
Oh, hello everybody. Hello, thank you, Chris, for inviting me. It's a great fuck. What I will do now is I have some questions here which I will ask with some dares. What things?
This can be your inspiration for the podcast.
What thing have you done that you hope your parents never find out about?
Oh my god.
Murder again.
So much.
Oh yes.
So much.
I believe that in the future I will have more and more for myself.
Yeah. Okay, to be fair, there's a lot of things that are probably...
This will not make the cut, so don't worry.
It can totally get in there. There's a bunch of stuff that probably I should not want my parents to know. But like, if my parents were to find out, about the drugs I'd done, or how drunk I'd got at certain times, or the things I'd done in bed, that would be bad. That would be bad. I would not.
But they can imagine that you do things.
Yeah, sure. But so when I was 14, my parents went on holiday and they left us alone. I'm the youngest, my brothers could look after me. So being 14, fucking stupid. And they were away for a week. I went through their drawers, I looked through their stuff. And I found my father's pornography stash. And now I'm scarred for life. But I never want my dad to know that I found his... I don't want him to know that I know what he...
Pleasure.
Yeah. He doesn't need to know. I didn't need to know. That's the thing that I definitely don't want my parents to find out.
I mean, it's the same thing. Even if you found a bowl full of condoms,
Yeah.
I think you still didn't want them to know that you know.
Yeah.
That I know
But
where your
if
condoms
it's a
are.
full, it's okay.
Can
If
I
it's
borrow?
not full, then it's not okay.
I mean, did you say a box or a bowl? If they had a bowl of condoms, that has a lot more implications than a box. Like if they have a bowl of condoms and a bowl of keys, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be...
Was it good pornography though? It was average.
It was good.
But old and gold, because it was
Is it in cassettes?
older.
No, so this was like magazines
Yes, of
that
course.
my
Come
dad
on, what
had.
cassettes?
Like
We're talking about vintage.
VHS. It's not the oldest porn I've found.
Really?
Yeah, no. So when I was...
Where I work at my charity shop.
No. So we've had like vintage porn come into the charity shop.
This thing is gold.
You occasionally get some things come in that are vintage that you just cannot. You can't. No, the oldest porn I found. So we've got 4 kids, 3-bedroom house. For a long time, my parents slept downstairs in the living room. My brothers shared. I got a room. My sister got a room. And then there was some moving about, so I got a new room. So my parents let me do it up. So I took up the floorboards, and somebody from like the 80s had stashed the centerfold sheet from whatever their pornography was, and they'd obviously slipped it between the floorboards to hide it and never got it. So I found this singular treasured sheet from an 80s porno with like the middle spread was wife of the month, which was like, obviously back in the day you could just send printed photos to pornography magazines. They'd be like, yeah, this is the
the stuff.
best married woman in south of England. I remember finding it, just be like, this was somebody's like prized material.
How do you think he felt when he like pushed it there and couldn't find it again? Like couldn't take it back? Probably would be like
I mean, I'd hope that they'd found
demolished.
more.
Like
We can make a short film about how that came to.
Yeah.
Ideas, brainstorming.
But 80s porn must be really good. It has a different feeling now.
I think it's very hairy.
It's very
Doesn't
hairy.
matter. You. It's other things that cross your mind. You are getting inside this world.
Things were innocent back then.
The only one. Jesus Christ.
60s and 80s are not
People,
not innocent.
I don't get like this whole thing when people are like, oh, you know, it's getting so weirder now, and it's like it's not getting any weirder. The Marc de Sade lived in like
Things
16,
are just
1700.
more transparent now.
Yeah, and like it's more accessible. Like before, if you were into like freaky shit, you would have to know the right people to go to the right places
yeah.
to
The right
find.
circle.
Yeah, now it's a Google search and whatever.
Everything is up to
fucking
you.
yeah.
And you can end up finding out about circles that you didn't even want to know existed.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretend to break up.
Hey, look. You know, I love spending time with you. You're great. You're smart. You're funny. You're such a great guy, and spending time with you will always be, you know, precious to me. But I feel like we're just in two different places. I don't think I'm ready for the kind of commitment that you want, and I don't want to be holding you back. You know, I'm really sorry, and I hope that we can just stay friends. I slept with your brother. I'm so sorry.
I think he's done that a lot.
The other one, which I like, is talk continuously about cows.
Talk continuously about cows. Do you know about the Milton Keynes cows?
No.
So the Milton Keynes cows are not real cows. So when Milton Keynes was being built, so it's built on this big 60s style city, and they were worried because they didn't want people to think it was too much of like a city place, and they wanted to keep some kind of authenticity to it. So they had all these fields just outside Milton Keynes. Now the thing about all those fields is they're arable farming. They're not proper farming. They're not for like cows or stuff, so they didn't have any cows in them. So Milton Keynes Council commissioned concrete cows to be made, to be put into the fields, to make them seem more farmly on their fucking wheat fields, stuff like that. So concrete cows, I can talk about cows continuously. Who knows? You can now, like, there's some of them are kept in the MK Centre. You can go. Milton Keynes obsessed with cows, but only fake cows. They don't want real cows. Yeah.
That's so stupid.
It's interesting, actually. It's politics.
Yeah, you know.
The things that you might think, though, like crazy.
Still, the last thing I think about Milton King when I think about Milton King is cows.
There are some things that might surprise you about Milton Keynes.
Really?
Yeah.
But our subject is cows.
The subject is cows, so we'll go back. Cows are quite... something that I find interesting about cows is like the differences in species, and like, so in Scotland when I lived there, you had a lot of Highland cows who were the ginger ones with all the hair.
Ginger cows.
Yeah, they're ginger. I mean it. They're proper ginger as well, and they're really friendly. They're really weird to see up close because they've got this extra hair. But there are places you can get. There's only a couple of farms like this, and what they specialize in is movie cows.
Movie cows.
Yeah, so movie cows, and I don't mean like trained movie cows. I mean like cows that are bred to be specific historical breeds.
Like black and white or something.
So like that, but like, okay, so there's a fairly famous breed from British history with these very distinctive horns. Now there's like one farm that actually still breeds these, and whenever you're filming like a period drama like Bridgerton or
like someone who has to walk in the fields.
Yeah, so then they will hire these cows from these couple of farmers and be like, yeah, well, can we get the 1800s to 1920s cow of this area? And we'll be like, well, yeah, no, we've got the fucking big horn, whatever it's called. So yeah, they breed specific generational cinema cows.
You see, everywhere is an opportunity if you are paying attention to what is needed.
I have so much useless information about this kind of stuff.
But do you see cows now? But you don't see now many cows. Is this like at the beginning? Like
yeah, this was early on, and I think eventually it kind of got
We don't need those cows anymore.
Yeah,
so
taken down. There was a bit of kind of years. This is going back a while. I think like they took a bit of humor in it themselves. So like you could buy souvenir cows to match the Milton Keynes concrete cows, and they did like an art project where they had a bunch of like cows made up, and then various artists were paid or invited to paint them in different styles, and they were put around Milton Keynes in different places. This is a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah.
More than 100 years ago.
No. This is like long in our personal lives, so like 15 years ago. So I don't know.
It was funny playing with this. So in other things,
Such a great game. I've never played it before, but I'll definitely try it again. Thank you, Chris.
how come and you pick this specific place? Because you said there are more than one shops. They are like
Okay, so there's more than one shop for this specific charity. So they've got ones in Winslow and Aylesbury and whatever.
Yeah.
But also Buckingham itself has, dumb numbers of charity shops. Something like between 8 or 10 in a tiny town. You don't need that many. And the other charity shops are fine. They're just a bit generic. And this one was, first of all, Sybil, who is my manager, is a widow.
lovely person.
A lovely person.
Lovely person. I like her energy, but
Yeah.
I understand what you mean by.
She's a weirdo and a freak, and everyone else who works there is a weirdo and a freak, and I'm a weirdo and a freak. So,
the other people look nice, actually.
Yeah, they're nice, weirdos and freaks. There's nothing wrong with being a weirdo and a freak. If anything, that is a compliment of the highest order.
You reckon?
Yes, because it's voluntary work after all.
Yeah, but okay. So, like, if someone said, "Hey, Chris, you're a bit different," and I like that.
Yeah.
You feel good? What if someone said, "Hey, Chris, you're really normal," and I like that.
I've seen 1,000 Chris's before.
You're just normal. You're really nice and plain.
Yeah. I don't think I will feel great.
You're like a glass of water. No flavor, but refreshing.
Basically, though, if you say to someone that you are pretty normal or regular, like a glass of water, that should be the highest compliment.
Yes,
If
but the
you-
most
nor-
interesting
normal,
thing can
think
use the
about
glass
it.
that you are into.
Because it means that you are peaceful. It means that you are one with the nature.
No, that's different. That's not what you're saying. It's not a case of being, there are plenty of weirdos and freaks who are very
because-
peaceful
Yeah.
and very one with nature. They won't say anything, and trust me, that's freakier than saying too much. If someone's just silent the whole time, way freakier. But no, I think when you say normal, it's not about being calm or whatever. It's about being homogenous.
Okay.
It's about homogeny. It's about everyone being the same, and you watch that TV program that 98% of the population watch,
Yeah.
and you wear the same
It's
three
like you came out
t-shirts.
from a factory, right? Of a factory.
Yeah, you came out of your factory made. You wear the same 3 t-shirts. You're gonna buy that album when it comes out, and if you're a
I
freak
can
and you're a
predict
weirdo, it's more like, what are you gonna do this weekend? Because I have no idea. I cannot predict this. You tell me, and I will just accept.
and just one day, a weirdo / freak comes to you and says, "Hey, I did this last night." You're like, wow.
Yeah.
But Chris, what did you do? Wow, let me guess, you watched that TV show and then you went out for a beer with this person and that person, and you went back home to sleep because you had to.
But I wouldn't say that about you, Chris. I would never
Is
be
it?
so demeaning. You're wearing shark slippers. You do this wonderful podcast.
What would you describe me? You know me for a while. So, because you said you wouldn't say normal.
Yes, you are not a cocktail. You are like a soft drink, like a Sprite. I think.
No, I certainly wouldn't say you're plain or normal.
Because there are people that know me and then people that don't know me. So whatever you will say, the people that know me either will agree or
Yeah.
completely disagree. And people that they don't know me, they will be like, that's a very nice thing to say.
That's That's very true. I mean, it's an interesting kind of how we describe people. What I did, let's cover how I would describe you first. I would probably, if someone said, what's Chris like?
No.
I would say, I'd probably describe you as happy, dripping with sarcasm. Probably safe to go out with. Probably. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I would take that. But yeah, I think there's. And so I used to do stand up, and when I did it, I had this bit about how we describe people is very rarely literally honest. So it's very rare that you'll say something genuine, but you'll talk around it, and there's like real like artistic linguistic gymnastics that go
mostly
on.
you try to say the good things as simple as possible so they will not create more questions
Right.
to go away with.
Or you say the bad things in the best way. Like if someone says to you, "Oh, we're gonna meet my friend Sally. She's really cool, really fun. She can be a bit opinionated. Sally's a dickhead." You're gonna walk in there and you're gonna say one thing, and Sally's gonna be like, "Oh, is that what you think?" If someone's like, "Oh, hey, you should come meet my friend Mark. Mark's really interesting." Mark's like got something wrong. Mark is gonna like within 10 minutes be like, "So if you were gonna bury a body," interesting. Mark is
wrong, like...
interesting.
Yeah.
The way people like in I don't know how much you will probably have to cut this next bit. Or
That's
bleep
right.
it
We will
heavily.
see.
In Scotland, the word is really heavily used.
Yeah.
But like,
But here you can't say that.
you can't say that. You can't say that. But in Scotland, if someone calls you a good that word,
Yeah.
that's like a really high compliment.
If someone like, what do you mean? Like, if someone calls you like a nice vagina, it's acceptable.
So I'll say the words, and we can just skip this bit, and you can look surprised.
We can swear here.
Okay, well, we can believe it, and they'll know what I mean. So like, so I've got a friend in Scotland. He's known as Teabags. I don't know why, so I can't explain that. But he's known as Teabags. If I was asked to describe
Because
Teabags,
it's interesting.
if I was asked to describe Teabags, I would say Teabags is a good cunt. And that's like the highest praise I can give him.
When you are in Scotland or where you are in England?
When you're in Scotland.
When you are in Scotland.
In England, they're a bit touchier.
Okay.
America, they're much touchier. Americans don't like that word at all. But yeah, so it's weird how words like wildly change meanings just given context.
I've had some people here as a guest which they love their alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a gift from a friend that he knows I like whiskey. So it's a single malt from Caribbean Caskets, 14 years old.
Is this
whiskey.
the Belveni?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it's that fruity smell.
And this is the first time I hear this name properly.
Belveni Caribbean cask. Belveni do a really nice 12-year double wood.
My friend has the 12 years one.
Nice.
You see? Enjoy. Yeah, some of the people that came here drinks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Probably you are one of them.
Yeah, certainly less than I used to.
Less than I used to.
I drink significantly less than I used to.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you an alcoholic?
I was.
That's an interesting topic.
Nice pitch. Nice.
Is it though good that I gave alcohol to an alcoholic person?
He's
like,
not.
Casual. I am a
Exactly.
recovering alcoholic.
Yes.
He is not
different.
now, but he used to be.
Well, first of all, I'll address this. So there's an important thing you kind of talk about when you're in recovery, and people have gone through recovery, and it's different to each person and how they feel best about. But like for myself and for lots of people who are in recovery, there is no point in my life now where I will not be an alcoholic.
So you will always be? Or
I will
you...
always be an alcoholic.
An alcoholic or a person who drinks alcohol every
And-
now and then?
Alcoholic. Because the thing is, at the moment, I'm in a place where I'm comfortable with my drinking, where I feel in control. And that can be a dangerous place to be in. Because if at any point during this time I forget that I'm an alcoholic, I'll slip. I'll be, this is comfortable, I'm fine.
So you have to have this mindset that I am an
Yeah.
alcoholic, so I am just controlling it. I am and I control it. And
Yeah.
You need to be humble about it so that you will not lose control again.
Yeah, it's that thing of I have to be aware, you know. I have to go over. Sometimes it will come to the end of the month and I will think, well,
I have 50 pounds rest. What can I do with those?
yeah, sometimes it will be like that. So I can
Let's get some booze.
So I can tell you from what I know as an alcoholic that in Lidl, the Lidl Zone port, at least in 2020, was $7.19 a bottle.
Okay.
And 2 bottles would end me for a day.
So you would have 2 bottles.
So I knew that if I could scrounge together, what, £14
38.
Yeah.
38, I could not worry about a day.
Okay.
And that's how it was.
It's pretty little money to be happy.
It's very little money. You can get real messed up on very little.
Wow. What happened? You trying to change that?
So what happened to make me change?
Yeah.
I
I think what happened to start being alcoholic, it's Scotland. But what, what happened? Stopping you.
I was well on my way before I moved
Scotland.
before Scotland. I was well on my way.
I think it's more interesting to talk about how it ended.
So how it kind
It starts. It's more complicated. The start, isn't it?
yeah. So it was an up and down experience. There were times that were better than others. The first time I kind of stepped back and got more control over it was just leaving the job that I was in. I was working at a bar, and often when you work at a bar, you're serving people alcohol every day against the end of your shift.
Yeah.
You're going to have a couple of pints. But I was working full time, so I was working 5 days out of 7. So already 5 days out of 7 after every shift I'm
Yeah.
drinking. And then what am I going to do on the weekends? Well, I'm going to go into the pub and I'm going to see my friends and I'm going to drink on the weekends. So just quitting that job and not be drinking 7 days a week, you know, that was a big change. And then during lockdown, I significantly got worse, but I'd been getting worse before then, just lost control of where I was. And it got to a point where I was like really struggling for money. You know, I couldn't really afford rent, and I really couldn't afford my bills. And I was still doing everything that I could just to make sure that I had alcohol.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I was like, well, if I buy this bottle, I will fall on my rent. There is no way I can pay it unless I go begging for help, which I'd done before. But I just wasn't prepared to do it again. I'd asked for too much help. I'd gone, you know, I'd had moments with my parents where they'd said, we love you, we support you, we want to do everything we can, but every time you phone, you're asking for money. And we know, you know, it's not, you're not asking to get something you need. It's, you know, 20 quid so you can get fucked up. And friends the same who I'd borrowed money from, whatever, and I was in this position financially where it was just like, I'm in debt, I owe people, and I can't afford anything, and it's all because I have to have another drink so I can not think about the debt that I have or all the problems. That was the point where I really had to cut back.
Okay. So, how do you feel now that you drift from this path?
So I'm in a much better place than I was, financially, mentally.
Are you happier or less happy? Because when you are drunk, you are always happy. But how
I think
about
you are not sad.
in general, though?
Well, this is an interesting thing and something that kind of, affects a lot of people, is that in general, when you get drunk, yeah, you're happy and you get whatever, and well, in general, I am. But, and it was, again, another thing that helped me cut down that was like, okay, let's say 90% of the time I get drunk. I'm great, I'm fine, it's wonderful, I'm alive.
Yeah.
Say just 10% of the time, I'm absolutely the worst person. Well, that's too much.
Yeah.
It was like I was talking to one of my friends, and they don't have a drinking problem, but they were talking about, they were saying about something that happened, and they were like, I got drunk and I was a bit of an asshole, but I was drunk. And I was like, well, you were still the asshole. It doesn't matter how drunk you were.
Change.
You did the asshole thing.
Yeah.
And if you're drinking, if every time you get drunk, or even if 10% of the time you get drunk, you're an asshole, you being an asshole is on you.
Yeah.
And so now I'm at a place where, like, especially recently, I've been a lot better of, going out and having drinks and just getting to a point in the night and saying, no, you know what? I'm just going to go home. I am at my point. I've had, some of that is counting drinks, very closely. Some of it's saying, okay, no, I've had 4 drinks. I can't have more. If I have more, I don't go home.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to. But learning that control, learning how to walk past certain things takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. It's not easy, and it's like I said before, I will always be an alcoholic. It's a constant thing,
Is it, though, a positive experience, you doing that?
Getting better is a very positive experience.
Because most of the times, let's say, a lot of people have like bad eating habits, and they say, well, when the doctor says to me that I have to cut them, I will cut them.
Yeah.
Which basically, it's not something that you want to do, but it's something that you technically have to do. So is it like a positive experience of you going through that path to
It's,
to less drinking is more, for example?
yeah, I think I think for addiction, to a large extent, it has to be proactive and it has to be positive. Like, if you tell an addict, oh, you have to stop, this is killing you, I don't care. Like, when I was at...
Doesn't matter to me.
When I was at my worst point of alcohol abuse, I didn't care. Someone told me, oh, hey, if you keep drinking like this, it's going to kill you. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'll be drunk till the last
Did
day.
you said like good advice, thank you.
Yeah.
Tell
Cool.
me that, tell me don't be sad as well, and I will not be.
You're probably... a reason you're drinking is probably that you feel bad.
It's because you aren't happy. Yeah. Another, one of the things that was talked about was addiction is more often, or almost always, a symptom of a problem, not the problem itself.
Yes,
So,
I believe that. Myself.
whether that's dealing with memories or previous abuse, whether it's being around the wrong people or being dragged into a poor lifestyle, whether it's just
Or
being
something
poor,
as simple as stress.
or something as simple as stress. And like, especially with alcohol, I think it's one of those things that people can fall into really easy because it's socially acceptable.
Yeah.
If your friend told you they were doing cocaine every night to feel,
You will be like, ooh.
you'd be like, oh, that's
Great.
you should not.
Oh.
You should probably chill on that.
Yeah.
But if someone said, oh, I have a couple of beers most nights and just chill down after work, yeah, that's fine. That's
No
normal.
problem.
Yeah.
See you at 5.
Like, one of the things I really struggled with was, for a while I was teetotal, and And that was after when I first went into recovery, I couldn't do that. There's a point where if
You couldn't go to the pub, you mean?
no, okay, so no, let me track back. So if you are drinking a certain amount, so at my worst period, I was drinking what is the equivalent of a bottle of spirits every day.
Okay.
And when
Which is a lot.
Which is a lot. It is a lot. And, some people would say it's not. And they are definitely alcoholics who have been in some bad situations where they
just
now
don't
think...
know it, some of them.
And when you're drinking that much, you can't actually go cold turkey. It is medically risky for you to just stop. So when people say, "Oh, we'll just stop drinking," there's a point where you
Thank you. I didn't notice that. Well, you know.
And if you go cold turkey at this point, there's risk of seizures. There's risk of collapsing because your body has gotten used to a level of alcohol, and if you don't maintain that or come close, it freaks out essentially. So when after first recovery, I kept drinking. Then I got to a stage where I could be sober. And one of the worst thing was if I went out with friends who I hadn't said, because I don't want to tell all of my friends, hey, I'm an alcoholic and I've got a drinking problem. If you guys could just chill. You don't want to say that to everyone, especially not people you kind of know who are friends, but you don't really know. And you go out and they'd be like, oh, hey, do you want something? You're like, yeah, I'll just have a Coke. What?
I'm not in the mood tonight.
What?
You say that. You say, oh, I'm not in the mood. Oh, well, can you not afford it? I'll get you one. No, I'm fine. I just want a Coke. What? What?
That's a great bit for stand-up.
People would look at you like you were a freak. Like, what are you doing? You're in a pub.
What's wrong with your life?
I'm in a pub. They serve soft drinks. But why? Why would you do that? And it's...
Why you be so idiot, so boring, so last year?
And the thing is, you tell people, you get to a point where you have to be like, no, I'm not drinking because I'm an alcoholic. I have a problem. Alcohol is a poison in my life. It makes me feel shit. It's destroying my body and I cannot drink anymore. And you don't say that. You just say, look, I'm not drinking any because I'm an alcoholic. People get offended.
Like what? How can you get offended?
Oh, you'd be surprised. People get really offended. You say, oh, I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking. I don't want to. It's not for me. People get offended. People feel like...
How in the world can you not drink that?
Well, it's because people feel, oh, you're not drinking. Are you not drinking because you think drinking's a bad thing? Well, I'm drinking. Does that make me a bad person? It's like when someone says to somebody else, oh, I won't eat that, whatever it is. I'm vegan. And the other person will get defensive. Because they're like, well, I eat meat, but that doesn't make me a bad person. It's because you're a vegan. And it's the same thing, you say you don't want to drink and people go, are you trying to imply that I shouldn't be drinking either? Well, the best thing that I learned... No, well, the best thing I learned to do, you say I'm driving, well, I don't drive, so they would know that. But best thing I learned to do is there are a couple of friends who got it and, they would say, oh, you sure you don't want one? I would say, no, I'm fine, I'm not drinking. And then if they pushed it, I'd be like, hey, do you not understand no? Is no beyond your comprehension? It's a 2-letter word. You're really struggling here. I don't think you should be around other people. Definitely not around other women if you don't understand what no means. And then people would be like, hey, no, that's not what I'm saying. Well, I've said no 3 times to you and you don't seem to understand that I said no. And they're like, oh, it's alcohol. It's different. It's not fucking different. I said no. What don't you understand? You just a polite no. You offered me a drink. I said no.
Did you say no or did you say no, thank you?
I said no, thank you.
So it's more than 2 words.
Always polite the first time.
Only the first time.
Yeah, second time.
No, thank you. Wait. You go, no, thank you, and you are reducing words. No, thanks. No. Fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you start implying more.
Mm-hmm.
But you're changing the word.
But it can be really hard. People can really not understand. And it like I said, you don't want to be the one telling your friends, oh, I'm an alcoholic and I've got a problem. Sorry.
Well, your friends, it's a good thing
Because
to say.
if somebody insists,
People that
they're
are
probably-
like not in your inner circle, maybe it's
Yeah.
something that you don't feel comfortable sharing.
If somebody is insisting, it's probably because they think that you are shy, not
Yeah,
because you're.
They
They cannot imagine that you have a problem. I think.
Oh, there's that. I think there's a lot of people who don't view alcoholism as like a problem.
The reason that you are alcoholic is your ex-wife.
Were you married?
Which at
I was
some
married. I
wasn't
at some point I'm fully confident that you loved her and you were like her a lot.
It's really hard in hindsight with all the knowledge that I have to say. Jesus. I did, yeah, certainly. Definitely that relationship did not help with my problems. There were a couple of other problems that were already there, but you know, my marriage and my married relationship, my relationship up to my marriage and afterwards, dived really fast. So fast. I found myself in that relationship 6 months into that relationship, already engaged and thinking, I've done something horribly wrong.
Do you have any funny stories about this marriage? Because
That's
I mean,
really
things
fun,
that
yeah.
makes you
Finally,
angry
we can-
sometimes when you look back, you laugh.
Oh my god.
Because at the end, he was like, "Oh, you hurt my feelings. I can't believe you did that. It cannot be the same anymore." And he was partying. Yeah, finally, I'm free. We can share this with our friends.
I mean, it's kind of like what you were saying. When we finally ended it, I insisted that we go out somewhere public. Insisted that we go out somewhere public, and we had like a bit of a discussion. She was like, "Oh, so what's your decision then?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not happy. This has to end." And she walked out of the place, and she took her ring off. She demanded the ring that I had back because the wedding ring I had was her father's wedding. And I was like, "Sure, yeah, you can definitely have that back."
The less I have from you, it's
As
better.
long as you're leaving.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna keep that. No. And she walked out, and like there was a moment where I was like, she was really, just as the person I am, she was on the verge of tears. As another human being, I was like, oh, I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to make people upset. And then like 5 seconds after that, I was like, oh, I've done it. Oh my god, I'm free!
And you were and tears of joy.
If you want a funny story, so
Being cheated. The best
Okay.
thing in the world.
all right, so the being cheated on thing is more complicated
Oh.
than it sounds. So we'll do this as quickly as we can. I met my ex-wife at a local group of like-minded S&M aficionados in the area.
I have no idea what is SM.
Sadomasochism, kink, rope, tying people up, spanking maids, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I met her at a group for people like that. I wasn't there for any reason.
How is it called? I need
It
to
just
know
happened
that.
to walk by, isn't it?
Yeah, it just happened to. I'll send you some links.
How can I accidentally walk by as well?
I know of a couple of meetings locally, so I can
Okay.
send you some places.
But accidentally, yes?
Yeah,
I will
accidentally.
walk by accidentally.
Accidentally, I'll send them to you.
I want this to be like, send me the address and I will just happen to pass
What
by.
about you, mate?
So I met her through this kink thing, and there was some discussion early on in the relationship about whether we wanted to be exclusive or open or try polyamory, all things that were covered. And at first she said she wanted to be exclusive, which was not entirely what I was looking for at the time, but I was like, you know what, I like you, I'm going to make that effort, I will be monogamous.
This decision that she made saved your life.
came pretty close to ending it a couple of times. So that was the agreement. And then she was like, oh, well, do you want to try the open thing? And I was like, I mean, if you want to try that, we were still early in the relationship. I was like, okay,
So
we can
is
try
that mean potentially though that a lot of people that she liked hitting on her?
Oh, well, that was the reason she suggested changing it, because she
Yeah.
had someone lined up and she immediately went and saw him the next day. I later found out she'd been seeing him for about a week before that.
Yeah, she was like, just wait a week to say to the person I
let's
date
put
now.
things in
So-
time order.
So we had a closed relationship. She met someone. She did some stuff. Decided she wanted to open the relationship, which I was fine with because I do not own that person. That's not a thing I believe in.
Yeah.
She wants
Did you
to do
have
that.
some in line as well?
Yes. Well, so she opened, she opened the relationship. She was like, "Oh, let's have an open
So
relationship."
did you text like,
I was
hey
like,
Janine, you know what, I'm in open now?
No, he was more poetic. She
It
would say
took
that
me
the river
like
flowed.
it took me
3
like
hours.
a week,
Ah, okay.
and then I met someone. I was like, "Hey, I'm in an open relationship. You want to get
Hit it on?"
freaky?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure." And then when I told my wife, we had an agreement of no details, that it would just be a case of saying,
Were you married
I'm
at the
there.
time?
but this was before we were married. We
Okay.
were engaged at
Okay.
this point. So I told her that I had, enjoyed the benefits of an open relationship. She then immediately closed
She
the
didn't
relationship.
like it,
she
did
didn't.
she?
She didn't like it on the other side. And then, like a
And you-
month.
Such a
You
big
didn't. So
move.
that was. I would have been completely turned off by that.
I probably should have, but I
You
was
were in love.
awkward and anxious and uncomfortable, and it was not
And
a healthy
drunk.
relationship in any way.
That was the first huge sign.
Yeah,
Like,
that was-
What are we doing? Are we
Like I'm allowed to fuck anybody, but you are not allowed to fuck
Yeah,
anybody.
or-
But we are in an open relationship that we are allowed to fuck anybody.
Don't-
Always
fuck.
a huge red flag if you're in a relationship and the guy's like, we should open it up, but doesn't want you to also open it up. That's
Yeah.
don't fucking run a mile. I should
Let
have run
me
a mile.
explore
Except
the
if you are okay
waters
with
and
this.
you
Yeah.
just
Except if
stay.
you are okay with this.
Yeah. So close the relationship, and then a month later was the guy she'd been seeing's birthday. And she was like, oh, yeah, no, it's his birthday, but he's not doing anything. He's just coming around. And I was working at the pub, so I was working till like, I don't know, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the
So
morning.
you decided to go to your friend.
No, I didn't. I just went to work and I came back. And when I was coming back to walk to my flat that we were in at the moment, I saw this guy walking back the other way. And we made eye contact. And the thing was, I fucking knew.
What?
I knew.
Ah,
I knew he'd been around my flat with my
Yeah.
wife, who he had sex with before, alone for his birthday.
They
There were
probably
no-
didn't do anything.
There were no assumptions. Like, no, they definitely did. And I fucking knew. I fucking knew from the second she was like, oh, no, I've just invited him around because it's his birthday and there's no one around. I was like, yeah, you're going to fuck him. I know exactly what you're going to do. When I was walking
she
back...
said to you that I will invite him.
Yeah. And as I was... So as I'm
That's
walking
some
back...
nerve.
As I'm walking back, he's just left our flat. And I
Did
don't
you
know
show any
why he
sweat on
waited so long to leave, but he did. So he was walking back and he made eye contact. And I was just like, hi! Good morning. Hi, Mark. How are you? Did you have a good time?
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
birthday! I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get back. So I did that, and he was just like, "Oh, hey, yeah, no, it's good."
Is he
Walked off.
sleeping? I have some nerves as well.
Yeah, and then I got back, and I was like, "So was it good? Did you have a good time?" She's like, "Oh yeah, no, he went hours ago." I was like, "Why was he still?" And I was like, "Why is he still walking down the street?" She was like, well, he forgot something, so he came back." I was like, "No, he didn't."
You know, he probably forgot something.
Mm-hmm.
He forgot to do your wife at the third time. Third time. So he came for the third time and he left.
He did. Yeah.
He was like a quick one. I have like half hour spare.
That's not a
So
quick
after
one, is
that, you said we need.
it?
You were thinking about breaking up before that.
So no, that time I was thinking about breaking up, and we talked about it, and she was saying how she'd been feeling insecure about some other stuff, blah, 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 and we'd work on it. Then 4 years later, I decided I would divorce her. It took a lot. It takes time.
Oh, so it wasn't for that incident.
No, it was for several other incidents all amassed together. And again, I think it's only fair to say that I was not mature enough for that relationship when it started.
It's a good thing.
I was not mature enough for that relationship, and I was not perfect in that relationship. After she cheated that time, I was like, well, fine, if she's going to cheat, I'm going to cheat. And I did a lot. And it didn't make me happy. It didn't make me feel good. And it was horrible. It haunts me to this day. And,
It haunts you why? Because you were trying to keep it secret or because you didn't feel well?
Because
because of the situation, right?
Because regardless, so there were a number of reasons. First of all, I was lying to people.
Yeah.
And lying to people in ways that hurt them. I don't want that. I shouldn't have done that. There's no reason why I should have done that. Nothing makes that okay. It doesn't matter what situation I was in. And the thing is like, when you're cheating on someone, even if it's for what you might consider good reasons, and I think there's defense in that. If they're cheating on me, fine, I'm going to cheat on them. Well, it actually seems pretty justifiable. You're cheating on them because you're in an abusive relationship, you can't leave, and this is the only out. Fair. But when you're doing that thing, it's a bad thing. And something in your head is saying to you it's a bad thing. And that plays, it doesn't leave
Basically,
you.
you may say things that will make you feel better, but in reality, you know what's the truth.
Yeah, unless you're a psychopath or a sociopath, you're going to be like, if I told people this, they would be disappointed or upset or angry because it's a bad thing to do. It doesn't matter if you don't tell anyone. You know that, so you say it to yourself.
You can lie to yourself.
And from that point is how you manage yourself with this.
Yeah.
You can be fine, you cannot be fine. You can say, okay, people do bad things all the time. And
yeah, you can find lots of justifications, but in the end, it will get to you. In the end, you'll, unless you can 100% justify it, you'll always come back to the fact of, regardless of what that person did, I did the shitty thing. You can't escape it once it's done.
Yeah.
So it was, let's say that the bad emotions were there for a long time, right?
The bad emotions were there for a long time. The unhappiness was there for a long time. And it's very easy to kind of just put your head down and ignore it and get on with life.
And people do it a lot.
People do it a lot. People do it for years. And it's really easy. It's really easy to be like, I'm fine. I'm managing. It's okay.
It's normal to feel frustrated.
Yeah. And it just got to a point where I was waking up every morning and hating my wife and hating myself. And, for both of those things, there's a breaking point for everyone. And I reached my breaking point, but it wasn't any specific thing that was happening. It was the little things that would just keep annoying me, and
just getting worse and worse and worse.
The thing is, it's I'm not. I guess I'm different from a large number of people that I've been in other open relationships. When I've been in open relationships, I don't own the other person's body. If they want to go and fuck someone, I don't fucking care. As long as don't come and tell me details.
You know where you are.
Yeah. And like, even when we weren't open and she was cheating on me, part of that, like, it sucks. It sucks to be cheated on and it sucks to cheat on people. But for me, I was like, I guess I don't care that much. But like little annoying things, like when I'd be like, so I have this thing, I like to read. I told her I like to read.
Yeah.
And that when I like to read, I want an hour at least. I want to be able to sit down with a book. No
Take
distractions.
my time.
Yeah. And any time I would pick up a book, she would try and talk to me. And that's fine. And it would get to the point where after 10 minutes, I would close my book because she wanted to talk because she didn't like me not paying attention to her. Because that was something of her insecurity. That annoyed me way more than her cheating at any point. Like, the cheating thing sucked.
Yes, but
that happened out of my time without my attention. I don't care. I'm trying to read my book. And it's those things that pile up, and you're like,
you said that you were immature. It seems that she was immature too, but because it's such an immature thing to do.
yeah, no, neither of us were mature.
She knew that you wanted to read. You enjoyed.
Yeah. Neither of us mature. We both did.
It was a subtle way to say "fuck you."
we both did shitty little
Kinda,
things
yeah,
to each other.
What's your opinion on haunted houses?
Haunted houses. Is this because of the house in the Czech Republic?
So, for you that you don't know, which most of you it is, me myself as included, Vincent parents, yes, they bought a haunted house in Czech Republic as a vacational place to go for holidays.
It's called Czechia now.
It is called Czechia.
And when I saw this house, I was like, there is no way people living there.
Yeah, no, they bought a terrifying house. It's huge. It's a huge house.
It's a massive house.
It's a massive house. It's in the northeast of Czech Republic, or Czechia, as it's now called. Czechia? Whatever. Do I believe in haunted houses? No, you die and you're dead.
I thought you were asking me, and I'm like, okay.
No. I was asking myself. It was rhetorical. Do I believe in haunted houses? No, I believe that once you're dead, you're dead. There's no...
Finished.
Yeah, it's blackness, and if there's life after life, we're not meant to know about it now, so I'm not going to worry about it now. But I have this difficult position.
Yeah.
In that part of me is like, well, if you died, why would you come back?
Yeah.
To be petty and to throw things around a room as a poltergeist, or scare some people who moved into your old house because they're new people in your old house when you're dead. Why would you do that if you die? That makes no sense. But also, that is exactly what I would do if I died. If I died and I got to the pearly gates and St. Peter was like, you can come into heaven, or you can spend the next eternity messing up someone's room every night and scaring them, I'd be like, I'm messing up their room
every fucking night.
So, okay, I don't believe there are ghosts. I do have one story from the Czech house, which did almost have me believing in a ghost, though.
Let's go.
So it's a really old house, and it still uses like a wood furnace for the boiler for all the central heating and all that. So we would go out there occasionally, and whenever I was out there, like, my favorite thing to do out there was to chop wood. Love chopping wood. It's great. It makes you feel strong. And
it makes you feel strong.
It's lovely. It's very satisfying. And so we had this furnace room where we would chop the wood with a big block in the middle. And every day, when I'd finished with my chopping, I would swing that axe as hard as I could into the block so it would stick in the fucking classic wood. Yeah.
You had the chops.
And it gets to one night, and I've been chopping, and I've woken up in the middle of the night, and I need to use the toilet, and use the downstairs toilet because someone's using the upstairs, whatever. So I have to go down the stairs, and the door to the furnace room is open, which it shouldn't. And immediately looking through the door, you can see the chopping block. There's no axe. I immediately no longer need to pee. I have forgotten my body has absorbed it in fear. I just leg it up the stairs. I'm like, I'm going to get into bed. I'm just going to pretend I didn't see anything. I never saw anything. This is a dream. It's not happening. Here. Came down the next day. The door to the furnace room is closed. I open the furnace room door. The axe is in the block. I'm like, did it happen? Did I wake up? Was it a dream? I don't know.
So the person in the top toilet took the axe with him.
Only assumption I can make that someone came downstairs in the middle of the night to pee, was like, well, I'm not peeing without protection axe. To the upstairs toilet. It's like, I'm just going to pee holding my axe. But it was great. Like it's such an old building. Such an old building that, like, for insulation, they just have thick fucking walls. Like, the walls are like, I'm not kidding, the walls are like this thick. So you would have the door here. So I could stand back then with my back against the door, and you just couldn't see me.
Yeah.
So my brother came down because he was out with us, came past, and I was stood right back against the cellar door. Jumped out. I've never seen my brother jump so high in his life. He was great. He hated me. He did laugh afterwards.
His big brother.
But is your parents believe in haunted houses?
No, not at all.
That's why they bought this. This makes sense because this place, I saw some pictures. It has like bathtub and kitchen and,
In one
and the
room?
bed
Yeah.
at the same place. And I'm like, this is a 2-floor house. Why do you need all those things in one room?
For the ghosts.
For the ghost.
It looks more like jail cell to me.
Oh,
More
man.
than anything else.
So
You don't want the ghost to run free. Hello.
This magic box, I will finish with some box, guys, for you.
With some boxes.
With some truths. I do apologize. So, if you like this podcast, like and sub. No, that's not what I want.
Can I have a look at one of those cards? Hey, if you like me, my name's Chris. Please like and subscribe. I'm so alone. I don't think these cards are right.
Is it?
Dear viewer, you have no much idea how much I need this in my life. If you like and subscribe, I can last another... I don't think that's an appropriate thing to say, Chris.
Okay.
If you like this video, please click in the left-hand corner where there will be more available. And if you like that one, maybe subscribe. It's been a pleasure. That one was quite nice, Chris. I like that one.
Does it say anything about
Only
you?
it's on the right hand.
This one says something.
Really?
Thank you for being here, Vincent. You've been the best guest ever. We can't wait to have you back. And that really means a lot to me, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. It took it time for me to write them. Did you write this one?
I did.
What did it say then?
I think you'll find it says, thank you for having me on here, Chris. I'm very grateful. Being in your presence it's a religious experience for me. Sorry, do you want to do that again? Sorry. Thank you again for having me, Chris.
You are
I'm
very
really
welcome.
grateful. Some light topics, some tricky topics. It's great. When did you shove your cock down my throat?
That's going to be a religious experience.
The cat and then you'll be like, toot.
So, your question. Your truth.
I have to say, I don't know where that truths are. Bunch of truths here. Pick one, and if it's not good, I will change it with another one.
Wait a minute. It's a good one.
What is the most childish thing you still do?
The most childish thing I still do.
Pretty
As honest as I can be.
I am being concerned, but let's go.
Cool. If you're in a bath
Yes.
and you got a flannel,
Yes.
get the flannel wet, and then you hold it over your hand like this, and then using your other hand, you put it down onto the water, and that creates a bubble, and then you catch it all underneath, and you can pull like the flannel with all the air inside under the water, and then you squash it, and it's all the bubbles come up like you farted. And I still do that. I still I'll wash, and then I have the flannel, and then I make the bubbles, and I'll make the sound as well. And I'm by myself. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm just sat in the bath, just. That's exactly what it's like. That's the most childish thing I still do.
I see many people doing this after watching it.
There's gonna be a bunch of people who are like, what does he mean, put a flannel over your hand like that? And they're gonna get a flannel, they're gonna do it, and they're gonna discover that not only does it make the farting thing, when you first do it, the flannel looks like a jellyfish because it's got this kind of bulbous form, and then you crush its head and fart. And it's always funny. It's always funny.
Never gets it.
I don't fucking care who you are. Farts are always funny.
Yeah.
Yes, they are far too funny.
Yeah.
And last one but not least, actually this is very nice. What's the most pointless lie you ever told?
There are so many.
There are so many.
I'm fine.
Okay.
You wonder to yourself, why did I lie?
I'm going to make this story as quick as I can because I know we're running over.
No, we're not.
For a while, I was genuinely pretty scared of dogs. I'd been attacked by dogs as a kid. We didn't have dogs as a family. I wasn't a big fan of dogs. I was a little bit scared. Big dogs still worry me slightly. They could do some serious damage. Like,
Yes, of course.
dogs kill babies every year. Like, don't tell me a dog is fine and cute. It could kill a baby. Fuck you.
Okay.
But dogs, I've owned a dog now. I do like dogs. But for a long time, I just didn't care more than anything. I didn't like dogs. But more importantly, I didn't care. Oh, is that Benny? Or is Benny your most adorable, sweetest little dog? I don't fucking care. I'd eat your dog as quick as I'd eat a chicken. I don't fucking care about your animal. And so I just told people I was scared of dogs. Like, oh no, sorry, I have actually a really bad phobia of dogs. Just so I didn't have to talk about their dog. So I didn't have to pet it or hold it or pretend that I liked it. I would just be like, sorry, no, crippling fear of dogs. Don't even show me pictures. I don't care. Sorry, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that's why I don't want to see a dog.
So, so now, what's the pointless lie?
That's the
Because I wasn't a pointless lie, it saved you a lot of time.
I think it. You know what? Honestly, I think it would have saved me more time if I just looked at the picture of the dog or their dog and gone, "Yeah, cute," and didn't. The amount of people are like, "Oh, you've got a phobia of dogs. We've got to cure you." I once had someone, this person I knew literally handed me their dog and was just like put it into my arms. Was like, I've got to go, and just put the dog in my arms. And then came back 5 minutes later and was like, see how much I'm helping you with your fear? And that was...
Where is my dog? In the trash.
You know, you see, this is the thing. That was the first person I admitted I didn't have as big of a problem. Because I handed her back her dog. And I said, I'm not that scared of your dog. I just don't like it. Like I don't like you. She wasn't actually a friend. She was like a friend of a friend who was kind of inserting herself. I was like, I don't like your dog and I don't particularly like you. Don't just dump your dog in a stranger's arms. It's not good. I walked away. Apparently I really upset her. She was not happy at the implication that she was a bad dog owner for abandoning her dog with a stranger. And I was like, no, that definitely makes you a bad dog owner.
Definitely.
Never saw her again.
This has been great, man.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, it's been wonderful. Hit the like and subscribe and smash that button for notifications. We'll see you soon. Hey.